Welcome back, my butterfly kaleidoscope, to One Hook, Two Hands. This is Sarah, the creator behind One Hook, Two Hands. And today we are going to be doing our next square in our Ultimate Granny Square source book for our giveaway blanket. So that I'm going to do to raise money when we get all the squares done from this book. That could be a year from now, I don't know, but we're going to try. So if you are new here, welcome. I like to call all of my subscribers butterflies because butterflies give me hope and joy, and each and one of you bring me hope and joy each and every day. I call it a kaleidoscope because kaleidoscope is what happens when butterflies flutter down in a group to land or take off, and so that's how I kind of imagine you all coming around to sit with me as I crochet. And today, like I said, we are working on one of our squares from our Granny Square source book. Please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Today we are going to be doing the second square out of this book. Each of the squares have their own designer, and some of them have an 80 stitch count around, and some of them have a 112 stitch count around. But according to the book, the 112 stitch count, you can do 5 of them in a row, and you can do 7 of the 80, and it will match up ultimately to get an even blanket. So we'll see what happens as time goes on. However, our second square is called the Season of Daises square. It is done, and hear me, I am going to butcher this because Spanish is not one of my languages. I do really good with Asian and Germanic languages, but for some reason the Spanish, there's a disconnect in pronunciation in my brain. So bear with me as I try this, guys. This is done by Comenasanos Susan Bilbanos from Argentina. And again, I apologize for butchering that. I know that's not my strong suit, but this is her square. It is called the Seasons of Daisies square, which it's really cute and really simple, and honestly, one that you don't have a whole lot to think about when you do. So it's a real quick and simple square. One of the things that I absolutely love about this book is that it has both a picture of a finished square and it has a picture of the pattern, which I'm kind of pausing right here so you guys can either pause the video here or take a picture, a screenshot, so you can get a image of the square. Same thing over here on the pattern, but it's a real simple 6-round pattern. I add an additional row because the squares that I'm going to be doing, since I'm doing it in acrylic today, which you can kind of see my bucket over here, is going to be outlined in pink because, like I said, I do an additional row to help with my edging, and it's in pink because this version of the blanket in the acrylics I am making for my niece. She says that she just realizes, do I have my hook anywhere? I will grab my hook as I am talking, but we are going to be making this blanket for her. Let me see. Where did I put that hook? Yep, right here. Luckily, I knew exactly where it was. There's 2 things I need. I need a yarn needle and my scissors too. That I wasn't prepared for, so guys, I apologize for the slight break as I went to go grab some of my supplies, which was my scissors and my yarn needle. I am using, come on, focus with me. Oh, there. That help giving it something to focus on. There we go. There is my G 4.0 millimeter clover or more hook that we will be using. I've been using this G hook for all of these. And it is time to get started. So as I said, we're doing this daisy square, and the center first row is a magic ring with 6 half double crochets. So pretty easy. I am, for this particular square, all of the acrylic yarn that you're going to be seeing me using down here is our Loops and Threads soft acrylic. Trying to figure out if this one, I don't know, guys. With some of my yarn, I'm a little not sure about where the pulls are, but we will be doing on this one we're going to use the butter yellow for the center of the square. And so we're going to start with a magic ring. If you're new to magic rings, the simple, easy way I like to do it is I like to pinch between my 2 fingers and my thumb, wrap them around, hold it in between my thumb and my forefinger, pull off, pull a little loop. There we go. Now I'm going to come over here and make a standing half double crochet, which means I need 2 loops on my hook. So I'm going to wrap around twice, and into the center hole. Now I'm going to pinch on the back to hold that steady. Then I'm going to yarn over, draw up a loop, and now I've got 3 loops on my hole. Now, this first one you can sometimes make too tight. I'm trying to make it looser, so do some loose tension here. So yarn over and pull through all 3, and that gives you a standing half double crochet. There we go. Nice and easy. Now, I do think for these, because of what's coming up next, you do need to kind of crochet loosely. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through all 3. That's 2 standing, 2 half double crochets, yarn over into the loop, yarn over, pull through. You got 3, yarn over, pull through all 3. Now, if you are having trouble making these half double crochets or any of the stitches that you're going to see, I do have a series called Sunday Simple Stitches, where each Sunday a new simple stitch drops of the basics on how to make things like a single crochet, a double crochet, a half double crochet, a treble, and those kinds of things. How to do a slip knot. I don't think I've got the magic ring on there yet. It's coming. But how to do a front post double crochet, back post double crochet, all of these things. So if you have any trouble with that, I do recommend going to that series. It's just a quick reference guide if at any point what I'm doing on here seems like you're missing something. And this is 5. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. One more to get our center. Now, this particular pattern likes to call for invisible joins. Right here is a little tough. So right here, I personally do a slip stitch. The rest of the pattern, you will see me do the invisible join, but right here, just the invisible join does not work as well. As tight and as small as this little center is, I just have a hard time with it personally with my fingers. So I'm doing a slip stitch, but you will see me do an invisible join elsewhere in this project, and I will show you how to do that as we go. And then I anchor and tighten it off. And there we go. I'm going to roll this yarn back up. I also like to anchor on the back, which I'm doing right now, just to make sure that that magic circle doesn't come undone. I put another knot or anchor into the back of my work. So now we've got our little center 6 half double crochet piece. Next up, we are going to be doing the flower piece, and for this one, I am using this really, the only way I know how to describe this pink is like a highlighter pink. I don't know, like that's what it looks like to me. It looks like a soft highlighter pink. So that is the pink that we are using for this. And pulling some off. Now this one's kind of fun. Part is kind of fun on this one. You need to put a slip knot onto your hook. So if you've not done that before, you pinch between the two, same thing, kind of like we're doing a magic circle. You push off. So this time you push a piece of the pinch and push a piece of the yarn through the hole. Pull that on both this part and here. Then you can put your crochet needle through or hook through the loop and pull tight. And now you've got your slip knot onto your crochet hook. Up next, we are going to do a slip stitch into any one of the half double crochets to start. So I'm just going to start across from where I did it closed because it just makes it a little easier for your starting stitch. So you just slip stitch. Now you're going to, this is row 2, and you are going to chain 11. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is one of those things where you just do a lot of counting. Now you're going to slip stitch back into the same stitch as that first one. And I like to go through the previous slip stitch. And now you're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And now you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, which is right here. So you're going to end up with 12 petals as you go across. But you're also going to have a petal that's going to go in between. So you're going to have a full petal in each of your half double crochets. So like here you can see we got a full petal in this one. But then we have this one petal that goes in between the two half doubles. So, and you're just going to do that around. So 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. And we're going to go slip stitch back into the same stitch. And I like going through the previous like slip stitch because it just kind of anchors it down, gives it a little more weight to what you're doing. Now you're going to count to 11 on your next round of chains. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And so since we did 2 in the same one, we're now going into slip stitch into the next one. Come on. Sorry guys, I knocked you at the same time I was trying to get into this one particular one. So we slip stitch there. Now we're going to chain 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And since we've only got one slip stitch in this one, we are going back into the same slip stitch, same post here. And that gives us 2, 4, 5. We're about to have 6 petals and halfway done. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Since we have 2 in there, we're going to slip stitch into this next stitch. This is going to help us kind of start to hide that behind, even though it was a slip stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've only got one in here, so we're going to slip stitch back in. Pull up. So 2, 4, 6, 7. We're going to do another 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I did both of those in there, and now I'm coming over to here. I think that's right. Give me one sec. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think this is right, because the problem is, oh no, I was like, that doesn't feel right though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. Just because of where the nuts are and everything, or the joint is a little bit, it's a little interesting over here. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. 11. So now we are going to slip stitch into this next piece right here. Guys, again, sorry for tapping you. I kind of have you a little closer, but the lighting looks better that way. Now, this one kind of is sitting a little weird, but it is what it is. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. We're going to create 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We did 2 slip stitches in here, so we're going into this last one. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're slip stitch, and this should be 11 petals so far. Let me just count to make sure. But 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Yep, so we got one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And this is where, so you can kind of see there's a little gap on this one right here. That has more to do with where my yarn from the previous row laid, but it'll kind of lay normally once you're done. So this final stitch, you're going to slip stitch back into here. Right? We're going to do an invisible join. Now this one's a little awkward for doing invisible joins because of the type of petals we've got going on, but I'll show you how this works on this one. The better one is actually the next row to really see the invisible join. So we will do it more clearly. So first thing you do is you pull through your yarn and pull that kind of tight. This is the fun part. Okay. This is why I say on this one it's a little interesting. So you're going to go 2 stitches from where you were, which is right here. And And you are going to slip this in, and then you're going to come around the back and go to the back bump. This is where it's fiddly, guys. So you're going to come around to the back bump of the previous stitch. And pull it through. So it's on the back side. And you don't really see a knot on the front. It does look really nice, but it's a pain. Now, because of the way the back is, you can just kind of do a knot on the back to anchor it, which is how I do it. Again, different people, different strokes for different folks, but that's how I do it. And now we've got our daisy made. Pretty cool, huh? We've got the daisy. Now we're going to do a green border piece. So we're going to pull up some of this dark green yarn here, which is the one I'm using for this particular one. And just like before, for this row 3, you are going to do a slip knot, just like before. And we're going to put our yarn through our hole, pull on both sides, and get that on our hook. Now, here's the fun part. So for this row, what you're doing is catching the third loop of each 6th chain of the petal and making a standing single crochet in chain 2. So what that looks like, basically your 6th chain is going to be this top chain, but you can count it to be sure. So 1, and a way to count chains is to like count the indents. So I like to go do it 1, and this first one you sometimes can miss. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So this little loop right here is our 6th one, and we're going into the 3rd or back chain that happens, the 3rd bump. So you're going to come back there and make a standing single crochet. And I do tell you to chain this a little loosely because you want kind of a loose tension here because of the next row. So you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to do it on the next one. So you count 6, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're at 6 here. So we're going to go into our 3rd back bump, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2 to make a single crochet. We're going to chain 2 by yarning over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. We got our 2 chains. Now over here we are going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is our 6th, and we're going to get our back loop here. If it will behave. 1, 2, make sure I'm counting right. 2, 3, 4. Pretty sure it's this one. The way it's behaving, but yarn over, single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, single crochet, and that's just what you're doing for this row. Chain 2, six. Because see, what you're doing is kind of creating the tension that will create our more even looking petals. 1, 2, and 6. Standing single crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 6. Standing, I did not get in the right one. 6. Because basically that's what you're just trying to do. You're just trying to create the tension needed to make some pretty laying petals for your daisy. But you also don't want to chain too tightly because of what you're going to put in the next row. Okay. So 1 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is really easy to skip that first chain when you're counting to your sixth chain. So make sure you are counting the first one, because the first one can sometimes hide on you and it can kind of make the petals a little lopsided. So just be aware of that as you're going. And that one was really loose. Hold please, that was too loose. Yes, you're supposed to kind of chain loose, but you're not supposed to single crochet that loose. Here we go. 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and wait a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Single crochet. Nope, I went one too far again because I was counting the wrong loop. Now it happens. Counting is a dying art in crochet, and what you need to count in crochet sometimes a little difficult, but you'll get there. And sometimes you'll redo it the same stitch 15 times to get it right, but it works. All right, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes I count the opposite side. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Bending single crochet. Because again, you can see where, yes, it'll pull and get there, but like if you do it too tightly, it's going to cause problems. So you do need to make sure you're keeping that loose. 6. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That one feels too far for this one to lay right. Sometimes these back bumps are a little harder to see, so if it feels like it's laying off, you can make the executive decision to do it a little different, one over, to make it feel right, but make it lay right, but be careful. 1, 6. 1, 2. And you are going to slip stitch into this initial single crochet to finish your row. Like I said, these first two, this row 3, 2, and 3, there's a lot of counting, and not in the way you would think it would be. Now, you're not going to change your color, so what you're going to do is slip stitch into the next chain space, just like so. Chain 3, which counts as your first double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. And do 2 double crochets. 1, 2, right here. Now you are going to chain 2 and 3 double crochets in the same space. This is why it's important. We're creating a corner here. 1. This is a little more granny that you're probably used to. 2. And if to do a double crochet, you yarn over, go into your stitch, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So again, you chain 3, you slip stitch into the first chain space, you chain 3, 2 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And then you 3 double crochet in the next 2 chain 2 spaces. So you don't chain 1 in between. You're just doing like a normal granny stitch here. 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. 3 double crochet. And then in this next one, we are going to create another corner. So you're going to do a granny stitch or 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, and 3. See, we now have a nice little side. So now we're going to do 2, and you just kind of repeat that around, doing a granny stitch. And so each side is 3 stitches, chain 2, 3 double crochets, and then you do 2 spaces with just 3 double crochets, and then another space with with 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And guys, I'm going to figure out how to go back and put chapters into my videos so you can kind of jump ahead if you want to. I like to show kind of real time what it takes to make these, which is why sometimes my videos are a little longer, but I thank you for your patience. 1, 2, and 3. We're making a corner here, so we're going to chain 2. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. Do 3 more granny crochets, double crochets, or not 3 grannies, 3 double crochets, or a granny stitch. The screen really does not show up very well, the stitch definition very well. But this is going to be a little girl's blanket, my princess, my niece. So she doesn't care. She just wants it to look pretty. And another granny stitch. One more corner of a granny, chain 2 granny. And then we've got 2 more chain 2 spaces that we need to do a granny stitch in each, or a granny cluster, depending on what you call it. I've heard it several from different people. I call it a granny stitch, typically, or 3 double crochets. And now we've got our nice little rows 3 and 4 here. Now, this is where you're going to be able to see my invisible join so much easier. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and fasten off a section. We're going to yarn over, pull through all the way, tighten that. Now, this is where it gets a little easier to see. So how to do an invisible join. So this is our first stitch. This is our second. We're going to put our needle through the stitch. I like to put my yarn in after I've got the needle in, because sometimes I make my fasten-offs really short, or I'm playing yarn chicken. So then you pull that all the way through, and if you can kind of see, it kind of gets this last stitch over up top, the first stitch of your row. So you're going to pull that tight, and then you are going to go through the back stitch of the 2 V's of, so you see how you have this V here? You're going to go through just one of those, and then you're going to go into the back loop here of the first stitch, and you're going to pull through, and now it creates like it creates that stitch where it hides it behind, and then you can tie it off and anchor it, just like I suggest with everything. Tie it off and anchor it, but you have this invisible join on your granny square. And now we've got our little square. Now we are going to our D yarn. And in this case, I am using this multi-colored variegated yarn. I don't remember what the colorway is called, but it's kind of got pinks and greens in it. I think it's pretty. Kind of, again, this kind of has a vintagey pink feel to it. But we're going to join D. Let's see. So basically, we're going to make a slip knot like we did have before. We're going to put that on our hook. We're going to start by going into any corner. You can choose your corner. And you're going to make a granny chain to granny. So basically, you're going to make a corner like we did from the last row in this. You're going to chain 2, do 3 double crochets. Now then, so now you're going to go in between and do a granny stitch in between each of these little gaps between your 2 granny stitches. You're going to go in and do a granny stitch. So 1, 2, 3. This is why I say it's a quick, easy little square. Because once you get past the counting of the daisy, like if you make a couple daisies and then make a couple of these, it goes really, really fast. 2, and I did get 3 in there yet. 3, and then you do your corner, which is a granny chain 2 granny. And basically you're going to do that for row 6 too. And you just repeat it around. All right, I'll be back when I get over here. All right, guys. So I've got this all the way around so far. Come on, focus for me, camera. So I've got it all the way around. Now we're over here. Now, if we were just ending here, you could do that invisible join, but we are actually creating one more row. So you're going to slip stitch into the top of this double crochet. And then you're going to slip stitch through the next 2 stitches to get into the chain space. 1, 2, and then into our chain space here. And then you're going to essentially do the same thing where you're going to chain 3, granny, by doing 2 more double crochets. Chain 2, granny, which is 3 double crochets. And then you just do a granny in between each cluster of granny stitches you've already done around, and then when you get to your corners, you do 2 grannies with a chain 2 space. And then you do your invisible join and you are done. Now, I will say I am going to be doing an edging row. You don't have to do that. All I do is an additional single crochet around in each stitch. Um, I do that because of the way I'm trying to work the edges of my blanket um, for some things. And so I just wanted to have like a more defined edge. Um, and to do that, it so that it would look better when I join it all together later, and you'll see what I mean by that. But in order to do that, I needed to have a more defined edge on all my squares, so that they all match up really pretty and with the way that I'm going to do it. So, but yeah, if you'll give me just a second, I will see when this square is done. All right, guys, we are back to the end. If you can kind of see here. Sorry, I'm like sitting in an office chair in the middle of my thing to get really good light on this. But as you can see, I am all the way back around, so I'm getting ready to fasten off here. And then I'm going to do one more invisible join, and that square is done. Now I will edge it personally because of the way I do my blankets. However, you can stop right there because that is the end of the pattern. And you can now weave in the ends. Again, you guys know, if you've been here for any amount of time, I am a weave in the ends at the last possible second person. So we're going into our second stitch here, which I feel like you're seeing it really better on this yarn. So you go to the second stitch, you put your yarn into your needle, it's already in, you pull it through, up and over, and then you go through here and through here and create basically that invisible join over the top when you pull it tight. And now you can anchor it by fastening it off by putting a little knot in the back. But there is your daisy, your season of daisies granny square. It is done by Sanos Susan Villalobos. I'm not saying that right, and I do apologize. From Argentina, but that is the season of daisies square, and I hope you enjoyed that. It's a nice, easy little pattern. Looks real pretty. We will see you on the next one. So, I'm going to be trying to do granny squares on Mondays. I've got some work in progress videos I want to do that are going to come out on Wednesdays. You will be seeing one drop this Wednesday because of the spooniness. Don't know if it'll be next Wednesday, but we'll see. And then on Thursday, there will be Stitch Away Crochet. That I can guarantee you, as well as the daily shorts that I hope you guys like as I try to tell stories with my music as well as what I'm crocheting. But I hope you guys enjoy that. I hope you enjoy this little pattern, and I will see you on the next one. Love y'all. Bye.